Hey YouTube. Here's the thing. I've been watching a few videos here and there. Actually, quite a lot of videos over the past couple of months, and have some interesting points being made across the board. Here's the deal. I grew up out in the sticks, out in the country in North Texas. I was never raised with religion or going to church or anything like that. I only started going to church as I was dating a girl when I was in high school that went to church. Her family went to church. They went, pardon the pun, religiously. They'd go every single Sunday, Wednesday nights for choir practice, and things like that. They were very deeply engaged in church and in religion. So, as I was dating this girl, I started going to church with them. And, it was entertaining, it was fun, and, I heard the message. I was saved, I was baptized right before I joined the Army. So it was kind of fitting, I was fixing to go on this other life journey. I wasn't sure what exactly was going to happen or anything like that, and so it was kind of fitting. Ironically enough, the girl and I had broken up just before I was baptized and left to go to the Army. So it was just on me at that point. I enjoyed going. I enjoyed the message. I enjoyed hearing about Jesus. And along the way, all through basic training, which was up until, up to that point was the hardest thing I've ever done. Just because I was thrown into a different group of people and, from all walks, and, it was just stressful. It was very stressful. Anybody that's in the military could tell you it could be stressful. Excuse me. But I was reading, it's called The Message, right? So basically it's a Barney version of the New Testament. So I was reading through there, and it was good. I was in the right place in my mind and all that. And then as I continued on, I kind of got out of it. It's just like a phase, I guess. I don't know. But as I got out of going to church and being more of a religious mindset, it's not that I felt more free or, I didn't feel like I was betraying Christ or anything like that. I just really didn't have a feeling about it at all. Part of the thing is my dad, growing up, I never remember this happening, but he always told me this story of, because like I said, we lived out in the sticks. We lived out in the boonies, out at the lake, as a way away from everything else. He says, the story goes basically, when I was a kid, there was a pastor, a preacher guy come in from town, come out to the country and was going around, trying to get people to go to his church to listen to his message, and things like that. And my dad, he's passed away now, but one of the smartest guys I ever knew. Highly intelligent guy. He never even finished high school, but he was a certified genius. He had a membership to Mensa, and just a very, very smart guy. He actually was a big proponent for me seeking knowledge and information. Hell, I would read encyclopedias for entertainment as a kid. So, I mean, he was definitely one of those people that would always push to gain more knowledge. Through whatever means necessary, really. If I needed to read or if I needed to, study or research or whatever the case may be. So he was definitely one of those people. Empirical knowledge, experience, stuff like that. So anyway, this preacher came out and was trying to get people to go to church, and my dad basically said, yeah, I will absolutely love to send my kids to church if you can prove to me and explain to me to where I understand it without a doubt why your church, why your religion is the right one or is better than everyone else's. And of course the guy, he tries like, well, it says in the Bible, and, started going into the circular logic of the Bible is true because the Bible says the Bible is true, and, there is only one true God, and that's Jesus. And, my dad basically just shut him down left and right with, intelligent, sense-making arguments, counterpoints, things like that. So, needless to say, As a kid, never went to church. Fast forward to high school, started dating this girl. We went to church. Fast forward a few more years, 10 years to be more precise. I started dating my now wife. She was really big into church. Still is, to be fair, not was, but she is. But at the time, she was very big into church. And, as we were dating, I would visit her on the weekends. And, she lived about an hour away from where I was staying at the time. And she would go to church on Sundays, and I would just stay at her apartment and kind of hang out until she got back. She kept saying, it's like, inviting me, not pressuring me, but inviting me to go to church. He was like, hey, I'd really like for you to go to church with me, not you need to go to church. You're a sinner and you're gonna die and burn in hell and all that. None of that. None of the fire and brimstone. None of that stuff. So I had, kept having these, I guess for the lack of a better way to put it, flashbacks to when I went to church before. I was like, well, that was kind of a traditional, it was a Nazarene church. It was pretty nice, very friendly folks and all. But they were kind of stiff, kind of stuffy. I asked her, what kind of church it was, and she said basically it was a non-denominational, Baptist church. How can you be non-denominational and Baptist? I don't know. Anyway, it was more of a rock and roll type church. It was a great church. The pastor was awesome. He rode his motorcycle into church one day. He was a football coach, all this. He was just a normal dude. And he spoke plainly, which is something you don't hear too often in churches, at least not from my limited experience. And so it was a refreshing view of religion. And one point that I would like to make right now, having said it was a refreshing view of religion, the pastor continually commented that he hated religion and he did not appreciate religious people. Now, I'm no biblical scholar. I've not read the whole book, and the main reason I've not read the whole book is for the simple fact that there were way too many contradictions in it. I got through most of maybe not even most. I got through a lot of the Old Testament because I was going to read it front to back, cover to cover, just so I could educate myself, so I could see what was in there, instead of like cherry picking, because everybody knows we love cherry picking the Bible, good and bad. Atheists love cherry picking it. Christians love cherry picking it. It's just the nature of the thing, because to try to read through the whole thing is a chore. At best, you could say it's a chore. It's an undertaking for certain. But reading through the Old Testament, there were so many contradictions, just so many. And I really started getting turned off by it. And, the church, when I started reading, like really setting myself up to read the Bible, the church we were going to, again, was classified as a Baptist church, but they were very, very open. They were very friendly to everyone. And it wasn't, they're definitely not a fire and brimstone church. They want you to come to Jesus. They want you to believe. They want you to have faith and things like that. They want you to go and witness, but they don't want to push too much anyway. So I started reading the Bible, and there were just too many contradictions. I couldn't make myself read it any more than I had done already. There's too much. Opposite. One of the big I'll kind of go into some of those at a later date, in a different video. This is more kind of my introduction, I guess, to kind of explain where I'm going with some other videos I'm going to be posting up. But do I classify myself as a Christian? Do I classify myself as an atheist, an agnostic, skeptic, whatever you want to call it? To be honest, at this point, I guess I would kind of call myself a faithful skeptic. I'm definitely not religious by any stretch, because I do not believe that organized religion is the way to go. I do not think that religion, as it is right. It's not proper. It's a fanatic cult. It's a fanatic cult, plain and simple. Islam, fanatic. Catholicism, fanatic. hardcore Christians. I know Catholics are Christians too, I got it. But, they separate themselves so much. And that's another thing, is the denominations. If we're all Christians, how come we don't just call ourselves Christians? Why do we have to be Catholics or Protestants or Baptists or Pentecostals or whatever else? Basically, if you believe in Jesus, Christ, you're a Christian. So why then all the other denominations and separations? I don't think it's right. And that's why I don't like religion as it is. So anyway, this is running 10.5 minutes by now. If you've held on this long, I applaud you. But I'll cut it for now, and I'll post some more stuff up. Maybe later this evening. I don't know. I got nothing but time. I'm off for the weekend, so no school nights, so to speak. But I'll post some more stuff up, and I'll throw some links in to the description to some other sites or other YouTube pages that I've been watching and listening to along the last couple of months that have really kind of got me thinking about this whole religious or faithful or skeptical situation that I'm in. So hopefully you struggled through this without too much pain. Yeah, there's my laundry I gotta put away. Sorry about that. Anyway, so I'll see you on the next video. All right, thanks for tuning in.